Right, one more film before we go, and that is Nocturnal Animals, new film from Tom Ford, fashion director.
Yeah.
Fashion
designer turned fashion director.
Turned fashion filmmaker.
Yeah.
Very much style over substance.
Excellent.
That's his sort of thing. Yeah.
And you saw A Single Man recently, didn't you?
I did.
What do you think?
I liked it very much. I would rather lazily call it like a sort of male equivalent to Carol.
Well, fair enough.
But I mean, Carol's like a much better film. But I mean, for a first film from somebody who's been a fashion designer, not bad at all. Not bad at all.
The suits were nice.
They were very nice clothes.
Very much visuals, yes. Yeah. But go on, what's this new one about?
So in Nocturnal Animals, Amy Adams is a Los Angeles art gallery owner, and she receives a manuscript in the post one day from her ex-husband, who she hasn't seen in almost 2 decades. And in this story, it's a story about a teacher who takes his family on a trip out into West Texas, and they sort of run into a nightmare, essentially, where these sort of awful redneck stereotypes who are just generally nasty people and do horrible things, and it sort of makes Amy Adams' character confront her past and the dark truths about their marriage and their relationship and eventual divorce.
Yes.
Now, it is a very beautiful movie. Like it's a very stunning film to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, as you would expect from a fashion designer, costumes on point.
Yep.
Soundtrack is brilliantly done.
Yes.
Like I would not take anything away from the soundtrack,
but
and obviously direction and cinematography spot on. But narratively, I don't think any of us quite know where to begin, do we? Really? I mean,
I mean, you've seen it twice. We should say that you've seen it twice now.
And I'm still no closer to understanding, like, even close to fully just what happened.
Well, I mean, the Amy Adams part in the present, we're led to believe is the present, is obviously a sort of satire on consumer and bourgeois culture.
Very certain.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite dark in that like sort of dark reflection of Tom Ford's world has been suggested, that he's maybe like sort of using it as a means to have a jab at people in his sort of circle, that kind of upper middle class bourgeois culture. I mean, there's a scene with Jenna Malone when she drops her phone and she's like, "Oh, it's fine, the new one comes out next week."
Sort of like Shades of the Neon Demon.
Yeah, well, yes, because she's in it, and Carl Glusman as well. But no, that's my takeaway from that part. I get that it's a revenge thing from Jake Gyllenhaal's character Amy Adams. It just doesn't clink together, does it? It doesn't really hold together very well.
No, it's all over the place. I thought
the 3 time frames, the 3 stories do link well. I think the way he cuts between them is interesting. The way it's edited is good. The sort of connections and the symmetry between the periods is interesting. It's just that each story isn't quite strong enough to work on its own, and then as a whole, it doesn't work because none of them work. It's a confusing thing. It really is. I mean, Michael Shannon, we should say, is he's the MVP. He's the one. He's the one who comes out of this looking the best. I mean, performances across the board are quite good. I even commend Amy Adams, who I think is terrific. She is probably one of my favourite actors of this generation. But she's made in this film to look ugly, without being disparaging to her, because that's not what I intend to do. I'm saying the film paints her in this light to make her look cold and, you know, ruined by the bourgeois life. And I think it's successful in that sense, but I just can't, it doesn't make sense in my mind as a film. I don't know if I liked it or not. I saw it a few days ago. I still haven't decided. Haven't got a clue.
But I think narratively it was definitely all over the place. I think I was bored by it quite a lot of the time, to be honest. I wasn't as gripped as some folk might have been, but I think it definitely needed a straightening out, to be honest. I think if it had a tighter narrative focus, it would have been a lot more effective. Because I think the scenes where the story is taking place, those flashbacks, you've got me calling them, the scenes in the story are, you know, they're perfectly fine. I was thoroughly engrossed by them, but just the story beats were just very off for me, and I just couldn't really get into it, to be honest. But the soundtrack by Abel Korzeniowski is really good.
Right, fair enough. No, I don't know. I mean, it did what we've all been thinking and put Isla Fisher as Amy Adams, which I thought was quite funny. That's quite interesting. But on the whole, I don't know.
So I enjoyed, like, because getting into both stories, I enjoyed it as it's like as an individual part. But I think just as a whole, I'm not too sure. You know what I mean?
I think the revenge part is quite dark.
It's
like it is quite gripping. You do sort of feel for, I suppose, like the way it's contextualized by the real events is interesting. I'm just not sure.
Yeah,
I'm just not
very
sure.
unsure about this one.
I don't think it's bad, and I certainly don't think people think it is bad because it has a lot of good reviews. A lot of people saying, like 5 stars, potential Oscar winner. I don't know. I don't think so. I think it depends who's on the jury, but no. I mean, if it's as people have suggested, a sort of satire on trash culture.
I mean, it just seems like an
possibly
upper class white sort of.
Yes.
Yeah,
I get that.
I think
feeling.
Like the Oscars might shine nicely on that.
Yeah,
you know?
I haven't got my head around it yet, but and I don't think it warrants a second viewing for me to try and get my head around it. It's probably one that I will forget about and just hope that next thing that Ford does is more like Single Man and not like this.
2 viewings for me, and I'm still no closer to really enjoying it or getting the satisfied feeling.
Never mind then. Nocturnal Animals in cinemas now. We saw at the Empire in Sunderland. Thanks to those guys for hooking us up. As always, very nice indeed.